The message came on a Tuesday. All across Earth, screens flickered with the same image. A tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 eyes and a military uniform. Humanity was not alone, and the galaxy wanted to talk. "People of Earth," the alien said in perfect English, "I am Commander Zarthol of the Galactic Confederation. We have been watching your planet for some time. Now you must prove your worth to join us." The alien explained that every new species faced the same test, a competition against the Confederation's best. 7 challenges would decide if humans could travel freely among the stars or be labeled as primitives and left alone. "Send us your finest representatives," Zarthol said. "Our elite Vanguard Corps awaits them. You have 10 Earth days to choose." World leaders panicked. They created a special computer system to find Earth's best and brightest. Military heroes, top scientists, and skilled diplomats were loaded into the database. The system would pick the perfect team to represent humanity. But on selection day, something went wrong. At Lakeside University in Wisconsin, 6 friends were recovering from the previous night's party when their phones buzzed at the same time. "Congratulations," the message read. "You have been selected to represent Earth in the Galactic Confederation trials. A transport will arrive in 6 hours. Pack for a 2-week journey." Greg Harrison, a tall guy with messy brown hair, read the message 3 times. "Is this some kind of joke?" he asked, looking around the cluttered living room of the Beta fraternity house. "If it is, we all got the same one," said Kyle Morgan, still wearing sunglasses indoors. Kyle was known as the campus party planner who could turn a quiet night into a legendary event with just his phone and a playlist. Amber Wright, head of the Gamma Pi sorority social committee, checked her own phone. "Mine looks official. It has government seals and everything." "Maybe they meant to send this to the science department," suggested Olivia Davis, an engineering student who built elaborate contraptions for party games. Her latest invention, an automatic drink mixer with light show, sat half-assembled on the coffee table. Jason Clark, a former bartender who paid for college mixing drinks at local clubs, shook his head. No way they'd pick random students for something this important. "Unless they know something we don't," said Megan Taylor quietly. The psychology major was always analyzing people, which made her both the best person to talk to about problems and slightly unnerving at parties. 6 hours later, when a sleek black government car pulled up outside the house, they realized it wasn't a joke. Meanwhile, at the National Selection Headquarters, alarms were blaring. "What do you mean, party animals?" shouted General Frank Peterson, slamming his fist on a desk covered with monitors. "The algorithm was corrupted, sir," a nervous technician explained. "We traced it to the alien transmission itself. It contained hidden code that changed our selection parameters." "To what?" asked the general. "The system searched for humans who perform well under pressure and in unfamiliar social situations, and teams with high adaptability in limited resource scenarios. And it chose college kids from a party school in Wisconsin." The general's face turned red. "6 of them, sir, and the transport already picked them up. Get them back." "We can't. The alien shuttle is already in orbit. It's taking them to the competition." The general collapsed into his chair. "Are you telling me Earth's fate rests in the hands of a bunch of fraternity and sorority members who probably spent last night doing cake stands?" "Yes, sir. And according to their profiles," the technician added, looking at a screen, "they're very good at cake stands." In space, the 6 friends stared out a window as Earth grew smaller behind them. They had no training, no preparation, and absolutely no idea what awaited them. But they did have years of experience turning bad situations into good times. "Well," Greg said with a nervous smile, "I guess we're having an interstellar party now." The space station looked like something from a movie, all shiny metal and strange lights. Greg, Amber, Kyle, Olivia, Jason, and Megan stepped off the shuttle, still wearing their casual Earth clothes. Greg had a faded t-shirt with Party Commissioner printed on it. Amber wore yoga pants, and a sweatshirt. None of them looked like official Earth representatives. Waiting for them was a line of aliens standing perfectly straight. The aliens were tall, blue-skinned, and wore matching uniforms with countless medals. They looked like they had been standing there for hours without moving. "They look like they could use a drink," Jason whispered. Commander Zar Thol stepped forward. He was taller than the others, with 4 stern eyes that looked down at the humans. "You are Earth's chosen champions?" he asked, his voice deep and doubtful. Greg smiled and stuck out his hand. "Hey there, I'm Greg. Nice space station you've got here." Zarthol stared at Greg's hand like it might bite him. After an awkward moment, he touched it with just 2 fingers. "This is the formal reception area, not a nice space station. Please show proper respect." "Sorry, dude, Commander," Greg said, scratching his head. "We're still getting used to the whole alien thing." Behind Zarthol, several younger aliens watched with interest. One of them seemed to be hiding a smile. Olivia pulled out a bottle from her bag. "I made energy drinks for everyone. Space travel made me super thirsty." She took a big sip and offered it to the nearest alien. As she moved forward, she tripped on the smooth floor. The bright blue liquid flew out of the bottle and splashed onto a glowing object in the center of the room. The object sizzled and changed colors. "The sacred orb of Confederation," Zar Thol gasped. The alien guards reached for their weapons. But then something strange happened. The orb glowed brighter than before, pulsing with new colors. "Fascinating," said a new alien who stepped forward. "The orb seems to respond positively to the Earth liquid. Perhaps their chemistry affects our technology in unexpected ways." Zarthol looked annoyed. "Professor Vex, this is not the time for your scientific curiosity." He turned back to the humans. "The competition rules are simple. 7 challenges will test your species: intelligence, strength, diplomacy, adaptation, creativity, technology, and cooperation. Our Vanguard Corps has trained for centuries. They are the best the Confederation has to offer." Megan studied the aliens carefully. "And if we win?" "Earth will be welcomed as equals," Zarthol said. "If you lose, you will be classified as a protected primitive world. No space travel, no contact with other worlds. For your own safety, of course." Kyle stepped forward. "So basically, we either win or Earth gets grounded." "Not cool." Some of the younger aliens snickered. Zar Thol shot them a harsh look. "The first challenge begins tomorrow," Zarthol said. "I suggest you prepare." After the aliens left, the humans were shown to their quarters, a plain room with 6 beds and a window looking out at the stars. "We are so screwed," Jason said, falling onto a bed. "Did you see those aliens? They're like super soldiers or something. And we're just us," Amber added. Greg paced around the room. "Maybe that's not so bad. They're expecting some kind of elite Earth force, right? But they got us instead. That means they don't know what to expect." Olivia nodded. "Like when we threw that surprise party for the dean after he banned parties. He never saw it coming." "Exactly," Greg said. "We need to do what we do best: improvise and have fun with it." Megan sat quietly, watching the aliens through the window. "Those younger aliens seemed interested in us. They're not all like Zarthol. We could use that." Kyle jumped up. "First rule of a good party: read the room and give people what they didn't know they wanted." Outside their room, 2 alien guards listened to the strange sounds coming from inside. Laughter and excited voices planning something. One guard turned to the other. "Are all humans this strange?" he asked. "I don't know," the other replied. "But tomorrow should be interesting." Morning came quickly on the space station. The 6 humans were led to a large room filled with aliens from different species. In the center was a stage with 2 podiums. "Welcome to the knowledge trial," announced a tall, thin alien with green skin. "Each team will answer questions about science, culture, and history. The team with the most correct answers wins. Greg looked at his friends with worry. We should have paid more attention in class. The Vanguard Corps stepped onto the stage. 6 aliens with small devices attached to their heads walked with perfect steps. Zarthol smiled proudly. Our team has neural enhancers, he explained. They can access our entire species' knowledge in seconds. That's cheating, Kyle protested. It is permitted technology, the green announcer said. Do your representatives not have similar devices? Before the humans could answer, a familiar setup appeared on stage. There were buzzers, screens, and colorful lights. Music started playing. Is this a game show? Amber asked. Kyle's eyes lit up. Guys, this is just like the pub quiz I host every Thursday. Jason nodded. Bar trivia. I've been listening to random facts from customers for years. The humans took their places on stage, facing the aliens across from them. The green announcer read the first question. What is the atomic weight of carbonium in the third density state? The alien team buzzed in immediately. 416.7 grams per cubic centimeter, one answered. Correct, said the announcer. 1 point for the Vanguard Corps. The questions continued. The aliens answered all science questions perfectly. The humans fell behind quickly. Next category. Cultural significance, the announcer said. Why do species celebrate? Came the question. The humans hit their buzzer first. Because it brings people together, Amber said. Celebrations help us mark important moments and feel connected to each other. The judges conferred, then nodded. Correct. 1 point for Earth. The aliens looked surprised. The next question appeared. What is the purpose of music? Jason hit the buzzer. Music speaks to emotions that words can't express. It helps us feel understood and brings people together even when they don't speak the same language. Correct, said the announcer. More questions came. The aliens knew precise facts. The humans understood feelings and connections. The score grew closer. Final question, the announcer said. What makes a civilization successful? Both teams stared at each other. The aliens had their neural enhancers. The humans had their experiences. Greg hit the buzzer. Success isn't just about being smart or strong, he said. It's about connecting with others, adapting to new situations, and finding joy even when things get hard. A successful civilization helps its people feel like they belong somewhere. Silence filled the room. The judges whispered to each other for a long time. Earth's answer shows unusual wisdom, the head judge finally said. The point goes to the humans. Which means, the green announcer said, Earth wins the first challenge. The humans cheered and hugged each other. The aliens stood in shock. How? Zarthol demanded. Our team knew more facts. They had more precise answers. Knowledge is not just information, the head judge replied. It is also understanding. As they left the stage, the humans high-fived each other. That was amazing. Olivia said, but I don't understand. We barely studied in college. Maybe that's not what matters here, Megan suggested. Maybe all those late nights talking about life while sharing drinks taught us something after all. One of the younger aliens approached them. Your answers were different, he said. Not what we expected. That's kind of our specialty, Kyle replied with a grin. Later in their room, the humans celebrated their first victory, but Greg looked serious. Don't get too excited, he warned. That was just the first challenge. Tomorrow is physical competition, and those aliens look really strong. Then we better get some rest, Amber said. And maybe practice some keg stands for strength training. Everyone laughed, but they knew the hardest tests were still to come. Outside their door, Zarthol listened to their laughter with narrowed eyes. These humans are using some strategy we don't understand, he told his officers. Study them closely. They must have special training we haven't detected. The officers nodded seriously, unaware that the humans' special training consisted mainly of weekend parties and college games. The next morning, the humans were taken to a huge room that looked like a gym mixed with an outdoor course. Walls to climb, ropes to swing on, and strange alien equipment filled the space. "Welcome to the physical endurance trial," the green announcer said. "Teams will compete in tests of strength, speed, and stamina." The Vanguard Corps entered wearing tight exercise clothes. Their blue skin showed muscles that looked like they were carved from stone. They moved like athletes at the peak of training. "We're doomed," Jason whispered, looking down at his normal human body. Zarthol smiled at the humans. "Our warriors train from childhood. Their bodies are enhanced for maximum performance." Greg shrugged. "We played beer pong and did keg stands. So basically the same thing, right?" The first event was a climbing wall. The aliens scaled it in seconds, their four-fingered hands finding perfect holds. The humans struggled but managed to reach the top much slower. "Point to the Vanguard Corps," the announcer said. Next came weightlifting. The aliens lifted enormous metal blocks with ease. When it was the humans' turn, only Greg could lift the smallest block. Another point to the Vanguard Corps. The aliens won event after event. They ran faster. They jumped higher. They showed perfect balance on narrow beams. "This isn't fair," Olivia complained. "They're literally built differently." After 5 straight losses, the announcer called for the team events. "Now we test how well you work together." The first team challenge was an obstacle course. Teams had to get all members through while connected by light energy ropes. "If the rope breaks, you must start over," the announcer explained. The aliens went first. They moved together with military precision, but when one slipped on a wet surface, the others kept going at their same pace. The rope broke. They had to start again. When it was the humans' turn, they approached it differently. "This is just like that 3-legged race at the spring formal," Amber said. "Remember how we won?" The humans linked arms and moved as one group. When obstacles came, they shouted encouragement to each other. When Megan struggled on a high step, Kyle and Greg helped lift her up. When Jason nearly fell off a beam, Olivia caught him. "Earth completes the course," the announcer called. "Point to the humans." The next team challenge involved moving fragile objects across a shaking floor. The aliens tried to power through with speed and strength. Many objects broke. "This is like carrying full drinks across a crowded dance floor," Jason said. Steady hands, fluid movement. The humans moved with surprising grace, shifting their weight with the moving floor. They finished with all objects intact. Another point to Earth. The final challenge was a dance-like competition. Teams had to match movements shown on screens while keeping their balance on spinning platforms. Finally, Kyle shouted, "We literally do this every weekend." The aliens moved stiffly, trying to copy the exact positions. The humans flowed from one move to the next, their bodies used to dancing for hours. When the platform started spinning faster, the aliens struggled to adjust. The humans simply treated it like a new dance move. "Earth wins the final team challenge," the announcer declared. "The physical endurance trial ends in a tie." The humans cheered, breathing hard but smiling. The aliens looked confused and frustrated. "How is this possible?" Zarthol demanded. "Your bodies are clearly inferior." "Maybe," Greg said, catching his breath, "but we know how to use what we've got. And more importantly, we know how to work together." Later, in their room, the humans celebrated again. "We tied with super aliens," Olivia said, amazed. "All those crazy parties actually made us good at something useful." "2 challenges down," Amber said. "What's next?" "Diplomacy," Megan replied, reading from a screen. "They'll test our ability to handle social situations and prevent conflicts." The friends looked at each other and smiled. If there was one thing party planners knew how to do, it was manage social dynamics. In the Vanguard Corps quarters, Zarthol paced angrily. These humans are using psychological warfare. They pretend to be simple and untrained, then reveal hidden abilities. We must be more careful. His officers nodded, still puzzled by how 6 ordinary humans could match their elite warriors. The next morning, the humans entered a large round room filled with aliens of many different species. Small tables were arranged in circles, with name cards showing where everyone should sit. "Welcome to the Diplomatic Challenge," said the green announcer. "Today we test your ability to prevent conflicts and build relationships between species." Zarthol stepped forward with 5 other aliens in formal uniforms covered with medals and badges. "Our diplomats have centuries of experience. They speak 12 languages each and have memorized the customs of every known species." The humans looked at each other nervously. None of them had diplomatic training. "Don't worry," Megan whispered. "This is basically like managing different friend groups at a party. Watch body language and find common ground." The challenge began. Everyone was assigned to tables with aliens they had never met before. They had to discuss difficult topics and solve problems together. At his table, Greg sat with 3 aliens who all seemed angry at each other. One had scales, one had fur, and one seemed to be made of living crystal. They would not look at each other. "So," Greg said with a smile, "what do you all do for fun?" The aliens stared at him. "This is a diplomatic session," the crystal alien said, "not a social gathering." "Why can't it be both?" Greg asked. "Where I come from, the best talks happen when people are relaxed and having a good time." Slowly, the aliens began to talk. Gray asked questions about their homes and families. Soon, they were sharing stories and even laughing together. At another table, Kyle noticed 2 aliens about to argue over territory rights. "Hold up," he said, stepping between them. "This reminds me of when 2 fraternities wanted to use the same party space. Let's break this down." Kyle pulled out napkins and drew a map. "What if you shared this area on different days? Back home, we made a schedule that worked for everyone." The aliens looked surprised but started discussing his idea. Amber was dealing with an alien who refused to speak. Every question got silence in return. "You know," she said kindly, "at parties there's always someone who needs space. How about we just sit quietly together for a bit?" After a few minutes of comfortable silence, the alien began to talk. Across the room, the Vanguard Corps diplomats used perfect formal language and followed all the rules. But they seemed stiff and rehearsed. The aliens they spoke with gave polite answers but didn't truly connect. Halfway through the challenge, alarms started blaring. 2 large alien species stood up from different tables, facing each other with weapons drawn. "The Zor and Klax have ancient hatred," the announcer explained urgently. "A comet was misunderstood. Now they threaten violence." The Vanguard Corps of diplomats rushed in with formal speeches about peace and cooperation. The angry aliens ignored them. "This isn't working," Greg told his friends. "They need to connect, not just talk." "What would we do at a party if 2 groups were about to fight?" Amber asked. Kyle grinned. "Change the vibe completely." The humans huddled quickly, then went into action. Jason ran to the food area while Kyle found the room's sound system. Olivia started moving tables to create a new space in the center. Amber and Greg approached the angry aliens with friendly smiles, while Megan whispered suggestions on how to speak to them. "What are you doing?" Zarthol demanded. "This is a diplomatic crisis." "Exactly," Greg replied. "And sometimes diplomacy needs a party." Music started playing, a simple beat that seemed to work across species. Jason returned with trays of food and drinks that were safe for everyone. The humans began a simple dance in the center of the room, inviting others to join. At first, everyone stared in shock. Then a young alien stepped forward and tried to copy the dance. Others followed. Even the 2 angry species found themselves side by side, moving to the same rhythm. "Food, music, and dancing work in any language," Kyle said, passing drinks around. By the end of the challenge, the room was filled with aliens talking, eating, and even dancing together. The conflict was forgotten. Earth wins the diplomatic challenge, the announcer said, sounding surprised. The humans high-fived each other while Zarful watched with narrowed eyes. They turned a formal diplomatic session into a party, he said to his officers, and it worked better than our methods. How is this possible? One officer replied quietly, perhaps we have something to learn from them. The next day brought a new challenge. The humans were taken to a large dome with changing environments inside. 1 minute it was hot like a desert, then cold like ice, then filled with strange fog. Welcome to the adaptation challenge, the green announcer said. You must survive in rapidly changing conditions with limited supplies. The Vanguard Corps arrived wearing special suits with technology built in. They carried packs full of equipment. Our team has trained in every known environment, Zarful explained. Their suits adjust to all conditions automatically. The humans looked down at their regular clothes. They had only been given small bags with basic items. This isn't fair, Olivia complained. Few things in space are fair, Zarful replied. Adaptation means working with what you have. Both teams entered the dome. The first environment was a hot, dry desert. The alien suits cooled them perfectly as they set up a complex shelter. The humans were sweating immediately. This is like that music festival when our tent broke, Greg said, wiping his forehead. Remember what we did. They gathered large leaves from nearby plants and created simple shade coverings. Jason found rocks to hold them down. In the desert, you need to stay cool but not waste water, Amber said, like managing drinks at an outdoor party. The environment suddenly changed to freezing cold. The alien suits warmed up automatically. The humans shivered but quickly adjusted. Like that winter party when the heater broke, Kyle said through chattering teeth. Huddle together and keep moving. They created a small shelter from materials they found, using body heat to stay warm. Olivia used items from her bag to create a small heating device. Engineering classes were good for something after all, she joked. Hour after hour, the environments changed. Rain, wind, strange gravity, dim light. Each time, the aliens used their technology to adapt perfectly. The humans used creativity and teamwork. When the environment changed to a swamp with dangerous-looking plants, the aliens' equipment told them exactly which plants to avoid. How do we know what's safe? Jason asked nervously. Megan watched carefully. Look at the small animals. They eat some plants but avoid others. Follow their lead. By the end of the day, both teams had survived every environment. The judges inspected their shelters and solutions. The Vanguard Corps used perfect technology and training, the head judge said. The humans used imagination and observation. Both approaches worked. What's the score? Greg asked, exhausted but hopeful. A tie, the judge announced. Both teams adapted successfully, though very differently. Back in their room, the humans collapsed on their beds. 3 challenges tied and 1 win for us, Amber said. We're actually winning overall. But I don't understand why, Jason said. We're just normal college students. Maybe that's exactly why, Megan suggested. We don't have special technology or training, so we've always had to adapt and make do with what we have. Like when the power went out during the Halloween party, Kyle added. We used phone lights and still had fun. Or when it rained during the outdoor graduation party, Greg said. We moved everything under trees and kept going. Olivia sat up suddenly. Guys, I think I get it now. Our whole college experience was about adapting to weird situations with limited resources. Exactly, Amber agreed. When you share a tiny dorm room with 3 other people, you learn to make space work. And when you have $10 to feed 20 people, you get creative with food, Jason added. Outside their room, 2 aliens from the Vanguard Corps were listening. They looked at each other with new understanding. Their adaptation methods were unusual but effective, one said. Perhaps we rely too much on our technology. Did you see how they work together? The other replied, no hierarchy, just everyone contributing ideas. Zarthul approached from behind. What are you discussing? The younger alien straightened immediately. Nothing important, Commander. But Zarthul had heard enough. He walked away thinking hard. These humans were proving far more capable than he had expected. Their strange methods kept working. For the first time, he felt a twinge of doubt about the outcome of the competition. In the human room, Greg was rallying his friends. Tomorrow is the creativity challenge. That's basically our specialty. Let's get some rest and show them what party planners can really do. 2 more days passed. The humans won the creativity challenge by turning simple materials into amazing creations. Kyle designed an entire game that aliens from different species could play together. Amber created decorations that changed colors based on emotions nearby. The judges were impressed by how the humans could make something from almost nothing. This is just what we do for theme parties on a budget, Greg explained when they won. But the aliens won the technology challenge easily. Their knowledge of advanced science was too much for the humans to match. Even Olivia, with all her engineering skills, couldn't compete with beings who had studied technology for centuries. We're tied going into the final challenge, Amber told the team as they gathered in their room. 3 wins each and 1 tie. What's the last challenge? Jason asked nervously. Cultural integration and species cooperation, Megan read from the screen. We have to show how different species can work together successfully. Before they could discuss further, there was a knock at their door. Zarthul stood outside, his 4 eyes narrowed. I wish to speak to your leader, he said stiffly. The humans looked at each other. We don't really have a leader, Greg replied. We just work together. Zarthul entered the room and looked around. Impossible. Every team has a hierarchy. Not us, Kyle said with a shrug. We just each do what we're good at when it's needed. Zarthul's posture was rigid. Your team should not be performing this well. You have no special training, no enhanced abilities, and limited knowledge. Yet you have matched my elite forces. You must be using some strategy we have not detected. Megan studied the alien commander's body language. You think we're cheating, she said quietly. But we're not. We're just being ourselves. Humans survive by working together and finding joy even in hard times, Amber added. That's our only strategy. Zarthul didn't seem convinced. The final challenge begins tomorrow. May the best species win. He turned to leave, then paused. Your methods are unusual, but effective. This I must acknowledge. After he left, the humans gathered to plan. The final challenge is about bringing species together, Greg said thoughtfully. Guys, this is literally what we do at parties. Bring different people together and help them have fun. Kyle's eyes lit up. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Greg nodded. The ultimate interspecies party. The next morning, both teams were brought to a large empty hall. The green announcer explained the final challenge. Each team will create an event demonstrating how different species can live and work together in harmony. You have 6 hours to prepare. Then all delegates from the Confederation will attend both events and vote on which was more effective. The Vanguard Corps began working immediately, setting up a formal diplomatic reception with perfect protocol for every species. The humans huddled together and made their plan. Amber, you're our organization expert. Map out the space for maximum mingling, Greg said. Kyle, you're on music and activities. Find sounds and games that work for different species. Olivia, we need your engineering skills for special effects and lighting. Jason, figure out food and drinks safe for different biologies. Megan, help us understand what each species needs to feel comfortable. Everyone got to work. They borrowed, improvised, and created what they needed. When they didn't know something, they asked the younger aliens who had become friendly with them. 6 hours later, the hall was divided in 2. On the Vanguard side was a perfect, formal reception. Everything was organized by rank and species, with precise protocols for interaction. On the human side was something very different. Colorful lights changed to music that had simple beats everyone could feel. Food and drink stations were arranged so different species would naturally mix while getting refreshments. Games and activities needed no translation, just participation. Most importantly, there were no assigned seats or special areas. Everyone was welcomed equally. As the delegates arrived, they were supposed to visit both sides equally, but something unexpected happened. The formal reception was polite but stiff. The judges moved through both events, taking notes and watching how different species interacted. On the vanguard side, everything was perfect but formal. Species stayed in their designated areas and followed proper protocols. On the human side, boundaries disappeared as everyone mixed together, trying Earth dances and games. "Look at that," Amber whispered to Greg. "The tall crystal aliens are teaching the small furry ones how to do the Macarena." Greg smiled. And over there, Jason got the water-breathing delegates to play a modified version of beer pong with the fire species. Zarthol stood at the edge of the human event, watching with confusion. A young officer approached him. "Commander, should we adjust our reception?" The delegates seemed to prefer the human approach. Zarthol frowned. "Our reception is perfect by all diplomatic standards. We cannot change it now." Hours passed. The music grew louder on the human side. Species that had been enemies for centuries stood shoulder to shoulder, laughing at Kyle's jokes. Olivia's light show created shadows that danced across the ceiling, mesmerizing everyone. Megan moved through the crowd, helping shy aliens join in and making sure everyone felt welcome. When the time came for the final vote, delegates lined up to cast their choice. The head judge counted carefully, then stepped onto the center platform. After careful consideration, the judge announced, "The final challenge is won by Earth." The humans jumped and cheered, hugging each other. Most of the aliens cheered too, having enjoyed the human event so much. "This means," the judge continued, "that Earth wins the entire competition by 1 point." The celebration grew louder. Aliens from a dozen worlds congratulated the humans. Even some of the Vanguard Corps members came over to shake their hands. Only Zarthol remained apart, his expression unreadable. Finally, he approached Greg. "I do not understand," he said quietly. "We had better technology, better training, more knowledge. How did you win?" Greg thought for a moment. "I think it's because we didn't try to be perfect. We just tried to connect. But our methods were flawless," Zarthol insisted. "That's just it," Greg replied. "Life isn't flawless. Neither are relationships. Sometimes the best connections happen when things go wrong, and people figure it out together." Zarthol looked at the celebration around them. "Your party brought species together that have been separated for generations." "That's what parties do," Amber said, joining them. "They remind us that beneath our differences, we all want the same things: to have fun, to connect, to belong somewhere." Slowly, Zarthol nodded. Perhaps the Confederation has something to learn from Earth after all. 2 days later, the humans prepared to return home. They had been awarded Earth's place in the Galactic Confederation. Ships would soon arrive to establish official contact with their planet. "I can't believe we're going to be famous," Jason said as they packed their bags. "The 6 college students who saved Earth's future. I can't believe we won an interstellar competition with party skills," Olivia added, laughing. There was a knock at their door. Zarthol stood there with several other aliens. "The Confederation has a request," he said formally. "We wish to establish a new diplomatic program based on your methods." "You want us to teach aliens how to party?" Kyle asked, grinning. "We want you to teach us how to connect," Zarthol corrected. "Many species are interested in learning the human approach to relationships and communication." Megan smiled. "I think we can help with that." 1 month later, back on Earth, the friends stood in front of a new building. The sign read, Interspecies Cultural Exchange Program. Greg looked at his friends. Who would have thought that all those college parties were actually training for saving the world? And now we get to officially party with aliens as our job, Amber added. Inside, their first class of alien diplomats waited to learn the art of human connection. At the back of the room stood Zarthul, now the official Confederation ambassador to Earth. "Welcome to your first lesson in human diplomacy," Greg said to the aliens. "Today we're going to learn the most important Earth skill, how to break the ice." As the humans began teaching, Zarthul wrote in his official report, "The humans' greatest strength is not their technology or their knowledge. It is their ability to create joy and connection in any situation. This, perhaps, is the most powerful diplomatic tool of all." Outside, the first official alien tourist ships began arriving in Earth orbit. The galaxy was about to discover that humans knew how to throw the best parties in the universe.